biggest challenge you feel our team?
The biggest challenge for our team, it's the execution of consistency, right? When you know what to do, when you know how to do it, right? When you find yourself in the moment, do you trust your training? It's one of the things, I think it's one of the hardest things to do, because when you have experience, that experience is a great thing. But it also presents you other unique challenges, because there's times where you can, because I've done this before, I've got it. It goes back to that objective of growth and application. But for us, it's just that consistency showing up on a daily basis, from the biggest of events to the smallest of the details, right? Being able to apply those fundamentals and techniques and concepts there in the moment of truth. And so that's one of the things that we've been harping, at a very high level, is trying to put guys in situations, try to apply the lessons that have been learned, but the consistency of those actions.
Two questions. One for really easy. I need you to give a cue about getting some of the famous hoodies donated to Ralph Price. That would be one.
The great hoodie.
Number two, how did you land Patrick Surtain when it's done with the experience of our second year?
The gray hoodie, that was, if I would have had more than one, we would have had one. Could have been, probably could have done some pretty good things with fundraising, right? But no, it was, Coach Surtain's been great. And, Pat has come in, obviously he was an incredible player. The 12-year NFL vet, he has the experience on the field, but, as I've got to know him over the years, even before I came to Florida State, having a little bit of a relationship with him, it's who he is. It's, he was an unbelievable program there at American Heritage, he has multiple state championships, but it was more of how he did it. The relationships he had with his players, the impact that they have, how they were developed and prepared when they went to the next level. As I got to know him, he got an opportunity to go coach the Miami Dolphins, and when we had the opportunity, it was one that I said, I'm going to take a shot on this one, and I didn't really know which way it would go. But when I brought it up to him, I said, Coach, there's one thing that I miss. I miss the relationships, the development, helping these young men, on their journey to where they want to go. In the NFL, it's a business. And that was something that the moment he said it, I said, well, that just another reason it shows this is why this is the right guy. Our players have really done a wonderful job. We've got some great newcomers that have joined the program that, absolutely have been fast-tracked, that I think are going to provide some wonderful plays and reps and all those things for us this fall. But even seeing the guys that are returning with experience, just the way that they absorb the information from him, because ultimately of just the respect of who he is, but also just how much he cares about them. So he's been a wonderful addition. Also helps a lot in recruiting. He's got pretty good relationships, and it's been great for our program. Yes, sir. The toughest challenge, it's all about us. And I'm really not, I tell our team that on a daily basis. There's the greatest opponent we're going to face is the one that's in that locker room every single day. And, to have guys that embrace that, it's exciting. And that's where, like I said, from the daily execution to the application of lessons to going out there and just continuing to improve. There are going to be bad plays that happen this season. And there's going to, I can promise you, every one of our players right now, they're not sitting around thinking of the negative things that could occur. Right? It's the same thing with every program and every player. You only picture the 70 degrees and sunny. You picture the success. You picture the celebrations. But when you find yourself in that challenging moment, where do you go here and where do you go here? And as we continue to grow and as we continue to respond in the way that we're trained to, and I have no limits to what I think this team can accomplish. And so, it's really all about us. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question about the heat with the practice, because it's so severe this year, more so than normal. Did you make any changes with that?
So not necessarily changes. Something I've kind of always believed, or that I have believed in, especially since I've come here. Having access to the indoor facility, which is great for us. We do go into heat every day. And there's part of it that you have to condition yourself. And there's part of it that I want them to be measurable for a few hours, for at least an hour of practice, where as hot as it can be and what that is. But on the flip side, we're also building up these young men, preparing them for what the season holds. And so, as we go out, we'll go out for usually anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour of our practice that will be outside, being able to use the space, obviously, playing in the elements, but then we also bring them in at the end, right, and finish practice on the extreme heat days there in the indoor. And it's great because, the sun is so draining. And, I've been at places that didn't have an indoor facility, and, the way that we practice, the way that we work, I mean, it's daily IVs, daily, cramps. I mean, it takes a toll on the muscles throughout the course of the season. So we try to keep a good balance. I mean, like I said, everything is tracked that we do, but, we push them to discomfort. We challenge them in their response, but then we also are making sure we're taking care of them. Because you look at it, I mean, our first game, 7:30 at night. Second game, I think it's 8:30 at night. We do have to play, up north and a noon kickoff. Those are the three, games that have already been established. But, there's not a whole lot of times we're going to be playing at 3 o'clock, none probably in September. So it is a fine balance of what are you preparing yourself for, but we do also want to make them uncomfortable to continue to work on that. Yes, sir.
Hey, Coach, I think about how the players have improved between last year and this year. What ways do you personally look for improvement in yourself? Is there mentors that you reach out to and stuff like that in off season for your own?
Yeah, I mean, it's always, we're all looking to develop. And, as I finish up a season, I go back and I do a self-assessment on every decision from, organization, structure to in-game adjustments, to play calls, to all things that we're doing offensively, defensively, special teams. And you see the things that were done well, and we do this during the season as well. So it's really a collective, it's a 365-day evaluation that we're going through the process. But when the season ends, it's about, all right, well, what adjustments do we need to be making as a big picture, overview into the program, and then what are the things specifically for me that how can I help put our players in the best position to showcase all of their skills and talents. And we will get out and I got a chance to go and talk to a couple of NFL teams about different elements of practice, whether it's practice planning, a few things schematically. We have a couple of really special players, and so just try to grab a couple techniques and things that we can implement into the program. But it's taking the things that we really do well and how are ways that we can continue to enhance that. And then the things where we've got to grow, and whether it's the situational emphasis during practice, whether it's the organizational approach to what we're asking our players to do. I mean, all of it, I try to continue to make sure I'm growing from a lot of different perspectives. So and I tell them, I'm never going to ask them to do something that I'm not willing to do. And I can't ask them to go and push every day to be their best without holding myself to that standard and continuing to grow and develop.
Coach, just more of a comment. Thank you for hiring Coach Atkins. Thank you. That guy is brilliant.
Yes, he is. Well, I think when you look at the job that's been done, and the development of our offensive line. I know I said in the media the other day, after the scrimmage, I mean, we have 8 guys right now that I feel, very confident that we can go win a lot of college football games with, and and then we've got 9, 10, 11, 12 that are all going to be really, really good players. And I'm hoping that they continue to take those steps and accelerate the process to be able to help us this year. But to see the talent, the size, Coach Storms and his staff have done a remarkable job. And you see guys like Rob Scott that had to come in and start as a true freshman. You saw Darius Washington, Maurice Smith. I think Maurice Smith, he's a wonderful player. And I mean, he was 270 pounds, 65, 70 pounds, our first year. And we had to go through it. And it was tough, it was challenging, but those guys stayed the course, they continued to grow, they got better, and now I think our offensive line has a chance to really be one of the strengths of this football team, and absolutely where we're going. My race time? Ooh. Yes. The we got a lot faster on our defensive line, so my win percentage is not quite where it used to be, which that's a good thing too. So yeah, I mean, I tried to get myself ready for this fall camp, but after 15 practices, my hamstrings tell me I'm getting a little older, so I got to take care of those.
How big of a force multiplier is the football new facility and the media program, and how much of a hand you have with design?
No, I mean, it's critical, and that was something that, obviously coming in the door, we knew that was something that we needed to do as a program, because for me, it's all about development. And A.D. Alford has been remarkable in that, our administration, from President McCall to the Board of Trustees, the support in getting that started and going, it was an absolute necessity. And so I've had a great role, and Bruce Warwick, our Chief of Staff, has really done a remarkable job within the day-to-day, but in all things that we're doing, I wanted to make sure that the values and the focus of our program showed up in that facility. Because when I talk to the designers of it, when I talk to the architects and the construction of what we're building, it has to play towards the identity we want. So everything that they said, give me 3 words. I said, all right, mind, body, and soul. Everything in that facility, I want to improve their mind. How can we be the most unique team in the country in developing our student athletes to allow them to be the smartest players in the country? Whether it's from virtual reality, whether it's unique dynamics with our field space and how we can utilize different walkthrough areas. I mean, every part of that building is going to help our players be the smartest team in the country, right? When you talk about the body, the physical development, within their athletic training facility, the rehabilitation station, our strength and conditioning, continuing to build upon that, and then obviously the soul. Right, I want this facility to be a place where players enjoy being. We talk about that brotherhood, and I want that to be their home away from home, where they can, the comfort of being with each other, but also being with their staff, with the coaches, being with all that makes Florida State special. And I'm excited about the plans that we have ahead, and definitely fired up for when we'll be able to move in here in the near future. One more question? All right.
Hey, Coach, I want to see if I can do like Irish Fell here and get confirmed. How is Verse doing? And I have never seen one team with so many great receivers as this one this year.
No, I mean, Jared's doing great. I mean, had a really impactful scrimmage there on Sunday. Excited about one thing. We talk about that growth. And, I've said this to the media, but, it's for anybody that's been out at practice. The thing that gets me so excited about this team is, our best players also think are our most improved players. You look at, Jordan Travis, the work that he's put in since last December to where he is now. I mean, it's remarkable. Jared Verse, Jared dealt with some injuries last year where he wasn't available, for, a good number of days, there in the fall as we were preparing for games. So there were some things, technique and fundamentally, that he knew he could be better at, and he wanted to be, he embraced that challenge. You talk about that experience when guys go out and, Jared plays at an All-American level a year ago, but he comes in hungry to be better. And I think we've seen that in his play, in his technique, and his fundamentals. And so I think from what you saw a year ago from those top guys, Johnny Wilson, I mean, it was same thing. I mean, just unbelievable growth. Trey Benson. But what you saw from those guys last year, where I believe they're going this year, I mean, it's just such a giant step here moving forward. And definitely excited about that group and just all the players that I get to coach. I really appreciate everybody coming out. Can't wait to see you in Orlando.